Welcome to another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and here is where we're going to talk about helping you become a stronger leader in all aspects of your life. All right, here we go. Right now on today's episode, how to lead through the chaos. Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, where we talk about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. I'm your host, Andy Zook, and each episode is designed to give you real-world tools to help you show up as your best self and work in life. Because when you lead yourself well, you inspire others to do the same. And I want to give you the tools to help you be stronger at leading, the psychology behind it, and give you that leadership edge to be even more effective. I started this podcast because I truly care about the people that work on our teams and the leaders who lead them. I'm here to share what I've learned from over 35 years of leadership, coaching, mentoring, and motivating teams. My examples and lessons are from on the job, from life, and from growth myself. Let's really dive today into how great leaders stay grounded and clear and human when everything feels chaotic. And on this episode, I will give you real simple, actionable steps on how to be just that kind of leader in moments of chaos. And let's be honest, it happens to all of us. There are so many competing priorities. There are fire alarm projects to jump onto when you're in the middle of something else. And sometimes it feels like everything is starting out really great, and then the unexpected takes place. And so we're going to talk about exactly that with a story that's a great example of a leader staying calm under pressure. And that's Chelsea Sully Sullenberger. Yeah, I know most of you probably know the story. He was the captain on a U.S. Airways flight which made an emergency water landing on the Hudson River in 2009 after a flock of geese destroyed both engines shortly after takeoff. I didn't even know that was possible, like geese would actually do that. So pilot Sullenberger and his co-pilot, Jeffrey Skiles, guided the plane to a successful water landing, resulting in the survival of 155 people on board. That feat alone earned it the nickname The Miracle on the Hudson. The event involved a quick and decisive water landing, followed by a rapid rescue by nearby ferries and boats. Sullenberger calmly and professionally communicated with his passengers to brace for impact despite the life-threatening situation. His composure and clarity in a high-stress moment helped ensure a safe landing, and he later emphasized the importance of training, practice, and shared credit with his crew. So what exactly did he do? Well, the first thing, he prioritized the most critical actions. He knew the plane only had minutes of glide time, and he immediately focused on the most essential tasks, like attempting to restart the engines and providing power to the electrical systems before focusing on communication or passenger announcements. His top priority was simply fly this plane as safe as possible. Then he leveraged his training and his experience. Years of training and practice in simulators enabled him to suppress adrenaline and think clearly under extreme pressure. He had that confidence that came from deep knowledge of his profession. Next, he maintained clear and concise communication. Despite the crisis, his communication with his co-pilot and air traffic control was brief, clear, and focused on the most crucial information. Next, he maintained composure. He consciously forced himself to use his training to stay calm, which prevented panic from clouding his judgment and allowed him to make the correct decision to land on the Hudson River. Then he led by example. He stayed on that plane last after ensuring everyone else had been evacuated safely. He also offered reassurance to others, even stating he wasn't as scared as he thought he would be. It helped them stay calm as well. He worked in collaboration with his team. Him and his co-pilot, Jeffrey Skiles, worked in perfect coordination, highlighting the importance of a collaborative and cohesive team during a crisis. Life rarely gives you clear skies and calm seas. It gives you disruption. It gives us curveballs. It gives you chaos at 8:17 on a random Tuesday when you swear you were just trying to get your day going in the right direction. Maybe it's work, maybe it's home, maybe it's people dynamics that pull you into their storm, or maybe it's your own thoughts that create noise that never seems to go away. But here's the truth I've come to believe. Our leadership isn't tested in calm waters. It's revealed in everyday chaos. I've been running a business for a long time, and I've seen days where the phones don't stop ringing, an associate calls out, a guest is frustrated, equipment breaks, and suddenly you're juggling 14 things at once and trying to show up and still be in control. Those are the moments that don't make the highlight reel, but they shape the leader you are becoming. So what is everyday chaos? What does that really mean? Well, chaos isn't always like dramatic, 911 crisis. Most of the times it's just small disruptions stacked on top of each other. It could be a miscommunication, a schedule change, someone's bad mood, a broken process, a missed deadline. All those kinds of things add up. Individually manageable, but collectively overwhelming. Chaos is simply life happening faster than your mind expected. And as leaders, the question becomes, how do we stay grounded? How do we stay intentional? And how can we be effective when the world around us feels anything but like that? Well, let's talk a little bit first about the psychology of chaos and why it hits us so hard. So when chaos hits, our brains immediately fire up the amygdala. We talk about that a lot. That's our threat center, right? So why you feel tense and get irritable is because of that. You make quicker decisions and lose patience and forget your long view thinking. Chaos narrows your vision, literally. Your prefrontal cortex, where your logic, creativity, and empathy center are, goes offline. But here's the good news. Leadership practices turn your brain back on. Leadership is not a title. It's an emotional regulation under pressure. So when you slow your breath, when you pause before reacting, when you choose clarity in moments of chaos, your brain shifts back into the driver's seat. And this is the neuroscience behind staying calm. Regulating yourself will help regulate the environment. 3 questions to ask yourself in chaotic moments. Number 1, what actually needs my attention right now? This will help you cut through the noise because not everything is urgent. Not everything deserves your energy. So when I look back on my early leadership days, I tended to be so reactionary and it wouldn't take much to get me really stressed out quickly. But I learned to take the time to cool down, assess things logically, and not react with emotion. And sometimes, quite honestly, when things got really, really chaotic, I would just laugh to myself. I would laugh through it and say, gosh, what else can go wrong right now? Let me just cool down for a minute. Let me take a breath and not let this ruin my day because I know this moment will pass. So again, 1, what actually needs my attention right now? Number 2, what can I delegate or delay? Chaos often comes from thinking everything must be done by you right now. But remember, leadership is prioritization, not always heroism. Number 3, who needs me to show up as my best self in this moment? What's great about this question is that it pulls you out of reactivity and into purpose. It reminds you that people are watching, absorbing, and taking your emotional cues. So some best practices here, some actionable steps for you that are simple, repeatable, and powerful are as follows. Number 1, take micro pauses. Even 10 seconds of intentional pause can reset your entire emotional state. So when you start to, get overwhelmed, take that 10 seconds, even count down 10 to 0, and that'll help you from reacting and you can make better choices. So take micro pauses. Number 2, narrate for your team. All right, team, here's what we're going to focus on first. This creates calm for everybody. People relax when the leader brings direction. I think I got tested the most in my leadership career during COVID. And we had many moments where we didn't know whether we were going to have a job the next day. We didn't know we were going to end up getting sick ourselves. There was just so many unknowns. And it got even more chaotic as we went along because the next thing you know, I'm taking everybody off the schedule and we're closing down the gate halfway and only helping people in our store that had emergency needs. And my only thought during that whole time was, how are my people going to make it? How are they going to pay their bills? And luckily, no one really lost their job. Everybody kept their medical insurance, but people still went without pay for months. It was tough, and I felt for them. But what I did do during that time was I communicated through text message at least 3 to 5 times a week with my entire team. I would send a message about what direction we were taking to keep our business going. I kept the plan simple to bring everyone back as soon as possible and work to keep people from getting discouraged. And then once a week, we would have a group call, voice call, so we could all get on and talk. What have you been doing during this time? And kind of laugh through some of the craziness and keep it light during such a heavy time. So remember, number 2, narrate for your team. Be the one to say, all right, here's what we're going to focus on first. Your voice matters in this moment. Number 3, lower the temperature, not the standards. So you don't have to match the chaos. You can soften your tone while still holding people accountable. That's advanced leadership. There's a great story about Navy SEAL Commander Gordon Schmidt. His team were in a high-pressure combat scenario where bullets were flying everywhere and a team member was pinned down under heavy fire. Most leaders would likely be shouting orders, but Gordon Schmidt, did the opposite. Over the radio, he calmly said, "Hey, John, I need you to do something for me," in a tone that like someone would use ordering coffee in a coffee shop somewhere. The unexpected calm diffused the tension, allowed his team member, John, to respond just as calmly. "Hey, boss, what can I do for you?" By not mirroring the chaos of the situation with a raised voice, Schmidt gave his team the clarity needed to execute their tasks effectively, highlighting the power of a composed voice in a dire moment. All right, so that was 3, lower the temperature, not standards. Here's number 4, shrink the moment. Yeah, instead of "we're drowning," use "let's tackle the next step right now." Chaos becomes manageable when we break it down. The leader who stays calm changes the room. I've watched my team shift the second and slow down. The leader who stays calm changes the room, because in everyday chaos, people aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone who won't collapse under the weight of the moment. Here's a story about race car driver Vic Elford. He was famous for winning major races and demonstrated immense calm in humanity. So there's a race in Le Mans, France. It's called the Le Mans, and it's an annual 24-hour endurance race. Race cars, right? First run in 1923. The winner is the car that covers the greatest distance in a 24-hour period. That race uses a unique raceway of incorporating public roads, and the teams must use a minimum of 3 drivers per car, with no single driver exceeding 14 hours behind the wheel. And so during the 1972 24 hours of Le Mans, Vic is driving along and he sees a Ferrari Daytona burning up on the track. So he stops his own race car and ran to help the other driver. Although the driver had already escaped, cameras caught the courageous act. Later, when mentoring a younger driver, Elford shared his philosophy for handling extreme speed and pressure. The car is moving very rapidly, but you need to be moving very slowly inside of it. And that's how you do the right thing. So, awesome story there. Shrink the moment. Don't say "we're drowning." Let's just move on to tackling the next thing. All right, here is your leadership edge for this episode. This is where great leaders separate themselves. I want you to remember this. Leading in chaos, your edge is emotional steadiness. So anyone can lead when it's quiet, but great leaders stay grounded when things tilt sideways. Make sure you are communicating clearly. Chaos destroys clarity, but you can be the one to restore it. Remember consistent presence. Your team doesn't need you to fix everything. They just need you to stay with them through it. And then be the model of resilience. So when they see you navigate the chaos, they learn how to navigate their own. Those moments, the chaotic, unplanned, unglamorous ones, are where the cultures in our teams are shaped. All right, here's your call to arms for the episode. This week, I want to challenge you with something simple, the Chaos Leadership Reset. So next time that the day starts spinning and gets crazy, pause and ask yourself, number 1, what matters most right now? Number 2, what can wait? Number 3, and who needs me to be steady? Then breathe, reset, and lead. Because chaos isn't going away, especially this time of year. We're in the holidays. Things get really crazy. We're in the thick of December already. Life isn't going to slow down. And the world isn't suddenly going to become easy and predictable. But you can rise into the middle of it. You can bring clarity into the confusion. You can bring consistency into stress, and you can bring direction into the noise. And that right there is leadership. It's not in the books. It's not in theory, but it's the kind we practice every single day in the real world when life gets chaotic. Because that's, again, where our greatness really shines, and it's where it's built. So that is my episode. I hope this impacted you for the better. Please, if you like what you are hearing, leave me a rating or review, and please hit subscribe so you won't miss another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. Let's become better leaders together. If this episode inspired you, share it with a leader who needs to hear it. And remember, the world gets better when leaders get better. I want you to lead on, lead strong, be awesome you, but most importantly, in the middle of the chaos, you can be the hero of somebody's story. Go out and be that one today. Until next time, lead with purpose. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk on the next episode. Bye.